What's up, Bills Mafia? Week 2 is upon us, and the Buffalo Bills home opener against the Las Vegas Raiders is a few days away, and I got all the storylines for you. But before we get to that, let's get to that intro.
This is VZ Music.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I always forget to tell you. Well, Bills Mafia, we are about 3 days away from the Buffalo Bills home opener against the Las Vegas Raiders. Really, it's the Oakland Raiders, Los Angeles Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. So weird to me. Anyways, let's hope for a better performance by our Buffalo Bills heading into that game. But I do have 7 storylines to watch for heading into that game. And once again, I want to thank Bills Wire for making this article. All right, so let's get started. A needed bounce back. Yeah, much needed. The Bills were stunned by the New Jersey Jets in week 1 to the tune of a 22-16 overtime final. Last Wednesday, if you thought about Buffalo losing down in New Jersey, you have thought Aaron Rodgers led the Jets to victory. Nope, he was injured. Zach Wilson took over. The Bills then had an embarrassing mistake-filled game. More than a bounce back is needed against the Raiders. I agree. Listen, that was a piss-poor performance by the Buffalo Bills offense, especially the offense, and Josh Allen. But I want to remind you guys about 2021. Buffalo Bills home opener, week 1, right? Coming off an amazing 2020 season where we were 13-3, right? And the Buffalo, all the hype, right, for the Buffalo Bills. And we stink up the joint at home against the Steelers, and we lose that game 23-16. Very, very similar game. By the way, that was under Brian Daboll as offensive coordinator. So I don't want to hear the whole Dorsey's the reason why ever since Daboll left. If Daboll was here, then it would be different. No, because in 2021, we lost our home opener week 1 at home. Embarrassing. The second half was the same as we did in 2023 against the Jets. No offense. Terrible. Shut down. So what do? We corrected those mistakes in 2021 after that, and we went on a roll. We wound up winning the division, and I expect for the Bills to do the same this season. They will correct those issues that they had week 1. But, you know, it was you never want to see what we saw this past Monday night especially from our franchise quarterback, and because we all know he could do better than that. All right, so let's get to the next one. Rushing attack woes. Yeah, they continue to be. The Raiders didn't ride their all-pro running back Josh Jacobs to victory last week over the Denver Broncos. However, after holding out all offseason, Jacobs is back and has to be licking his chops, seeing how poorly the Bills' defense handled Breece Hall last week. At all levels of the defense, there were mistakes. Jacobs had a career-high 1,653 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns in 2022. He's a hell of a running back. You cannot make mistakes when you're facing Josh Jacobs. He will tear you up, just like Breece Hall did, just like other running backs have done against the Buffalo Bills. And they need to figure out this problem. This problem, especially with big runs. Because if you go back to that game this past Monday, once they had that 85-yard run by Breece Hall, the Bills, believe it or not, kept the Jets running backs to an average of about 3.6 yards a carry. So they did a much better job, but it's always the big run that they give up some part of the game, and it's such a killer. They have to stay. They have to um, be more aggressive versus the run. They got to tackle better. They got to be in a better position. Stop being out of position, because that's what it is. Players are out of position. They get caught up, and there's nobody there to make the tackle. And you saw that last week. You cannot allow that to happen, and you have to make the tackle when it's there. Players missing a tackle, it's becoming a thing for Buffalo. Even Matt Milano, who I love, has a lot of missed tackles. You have to wrap up. All right, let's get to the next. Josh, stop. But really this time. Josh Allen needs to stop turning the ball over. That's it. That's the storyline. He's going to be asked about it all this week after his 4 giveaways in New Jersey. By the way, almost 5. I believe he almost threw a 4th interception. I think it was to Mosley, and it was in and out of his hands. Should have been an interception. So really, Josh Allen should have had about 5 turnovers this past Monday. Unacceptable. And I kind of feel like this is Sean McDermott and Josh Allen on Tuesday.
Guys, do you remember the Be Smart speech?
Sure. All right. Then what'd you do? What'd you do about it?
The opposite. We were not smart, Captain Gene.
Right. Yeah. That was Josh Allen. So, we talked about that being smart. So what'd you do about it, Josh? We did the opposite. I wasn't smart, right? And Josh said so, and he understands that. But, once again, actions speak louder than words. Josh has been telling us, right, as fans, telling the national media, telling his coaches that he understands that he needs to be smarter, that he understands that he can't take those hits, unnecessary hits that he's taking when he could either slide down or run out of bounds. And also taking what the defense gives you. He has to play smarter. There was plenty of guys, believe it or not, open in that game that he could have thrown to, and he chose not to. He chose to throw in double and triple coverage and just make boneheaded decisions. And it cost us the game. Let's be real. I normally, listen, the quarterback's always going to get the love when things go right, and he's always going to get the blame when things go wrong, even if it's not his fault, right? But I got to say, Monday, that was Josh Allen. That was Josh Allen's game. He is responsible for that loss, in my opinion. He did not. He was careless with the ball. He played selfish. I gotta be real with you. I thought he played selfish football. And the thing with Josh Allen, I really still believe it's a mental thing. I think he is to this thing where he wants to prove that he can make every throw. He wants to prove that he could truck every defender. And he has to stop that mentality. He has to stop it, because this is something that he's been going through since high school. He wanted to prove everybody wrong, that he belonged. He did that in college, and he's done it in the NFL since he's been drafted. And sometimes we love it, and sometimes we hate it. And it's starting to become more of that we hate it, because he's doing it more often, and turnovers are happening more often now. And defenses are playing him very smart now. And if you notice, when he tries to do those quarterback draws, they don't work anymore. Defenses are clamping down on him, and they're hitting him for real, and they're making it count. And they know that he fumbles a lot, so they're going after the ball when he carries the ball. So a couple other things too. When he runs the ball, he needs to be more protective of the ball. He needs to do whatever he needs to do. He needs to figure it out, because if that's in the game plan, which it will be for Josh Allen to run, on a few occasions, probably more than a few, but he has to learn how to tuck that ball better, because defenses are going after that ball. And clearly he still has an issue with fumbling. So that needs to be addressed. But playing smarter is something that he needs to get inside his head mentally and correct, because We all know he could do it. I've seen Josh Allen play phenomenal and play games where he played very smart football. And this past Monday was not it. All right, let's get to the next one. Dealing with Devontae. Tre'Davious White had a bit of a tough game against the Jets' #1 receiver, Garrett Wilson. His yardage was held down, but Wilson still had an incredible touchdown against White. Devontae Adams is even larger test. The entire Bills secondary is going to be asked about stopping him. I agree, but I also have to say, I think Trey White did a good job against Garrett Wilson. You got to sometimes just tip your cap to the player who made a phenomenal catch or phenomenal play. And Garrett Wilson made a phenomenal play for the touchdown. If you go back and look at that play, Trey White was all over Garrett Wilson. He played that as good as you can get, pretty much. He was sticky. He was all over him. Garrett Wilson just made the better play, period. And, I don't hate that. It wasn't like Trey White got beat bad and Garrett Wilson just exposed them. Garrett Wilson had 40 yards. He didn't have a lot of receiving yards. So I think Trey White held his own against one of the better, younger, talented receivers in the NFL. Now, Devontae Adams is a different kind of beast. I know we all know this, right? He's a veteran. He's proven. But I think I have faith in Trey White. I do. And I have faith in what I saw in Christian Benford last year, and even more faith in what I've seen so far this year. So even though it's early, only week 1 has gone by, but Christian Benford seems to be a guy that is trending up, and it has earned that spot for a reason. So I'm not really worried about the DBs, to be honest with you guys. All right, let's get back to the next. More tough trench warfare. While Allen's interceptions were the biggest problem, his protection was second. The Jets simply sport a top-notch defensive line, but so do the Raiders. It's a front led by Max Crosby. Deion Dawkins fared well against New Jersey, but Spencer Brown has to be better. Both tackles will likely face Crosby, and that's a big task. Crosby is a hell of a player, and yeah, they need to be on their A games when it comes to that guy, because he's a force to be reckoned with, man. He's a tough defender. And Deion Dawkins last week, once again, it's just like, when he plays to his ability, he is a Pro Bowl left tackle. But he doesn't always do that. There's games where he just something's off. And I thought last week, I didn't think he was terrible, but he definitely wasn't a Pro Bowl left tackle last week. I could promise you that. And I get it, going against a good Jets defensive line, but if you're a Pro Bowl left tackle and you consider yourself one of the best in the NFL, you need to play like that against some of the best defensive edge rushers in this game. You can't just play your best football against mediocre talent. So Deion Dawkins needs to also look in the mirror and play better. But I will say this, for an offensive line, just like a defensive line, especially for the offensive line, it's like, think about it like a chain, right? They all need to work together. If one link is broken on that chain, that wheel ain't moving. It's just the facts. And Spencer Brown, right now for me, is that broken link. I still believe in Spencer Brown. I still think he can turn it around. But this is my last years defending him, and he needs to show more. He does, because he's still having the same issues he's been having since his rookie year. Getting beat by faster edge rushers, getting bullied back by stronger edge rushers. Like, he needs to figure things out. But I've also seen Spencer Brown play good at times, right? So whatever you need to do, Spencer Brown, you need to figure this out. You need to figure it out during practice, because you're going to wind up losing that job. And Bills Mafia has been calling for your head. So you got to do your job, man. And that whole offensive line has to do their job. I'll tell you what, watching back on that film on Monday night, I thought Osiris Torrance was the best lineman we had on the field that day. I thought, sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I thought they did okay against a very, very good defensive line. Can they do better? Yes. Do we need them to do better? Hell yes. But I didn't think they were terrible. Okay. Now they're going against a Raiders defensive line that's very good too. Now, not as good as the Jets, but they need to show me better. They need to show me that they improved. So, we'll see when it comes to that. All right, next up. Someone help Steph. Sure, Stephon Diggs is used to carrying the load for the Bills offense. That's what he likes, and that's what he did against the Jets with 10 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. But goodness, someone needs to help him. Even Sean McDermott admitted that. And yeah, listen, I gotta say, watching that film back once again, there was guys open. So I don't know how much you could blame the other receivers and the tight ends for not being more involved in the Bills' offense this past Monday when there was guys wide open. Heck, even on the interception, the third that Josh threw to Diggs, I mean that Josh threw to Gabe Davis, Diggs was wide open on the slant for the first down, wide open. His number one. You would think he would go there, right? Because Josh Allen was throwing to Diggs all day long. Like that was his primary target. Matter of fact, he was forcing throws to Diggs at times that cost him interceptions. Why not go to Diggs right there for the first? Your main target. Instead, you go double coverage to Gabe Davis. By the way, not the best route. Best route running by Gabe Davis on that, which didn't help. But still, double coverage, shouldn't throw that ball. You take the easy first down. Take what the defense is giving you. Also, on that play, Dalton Kincaid was wide open. So, yeah, Kincaid wide open. He has Stephon Diggs wide open. Easy first down. Easy. And Josh decided to go somewhere else. I saw Trent Sherfield open a few times. I saw Dawson Knox open many times. Dalton Kincaid was open many times. Josh just didn't look their way for some reason. So I don't know if you can really truly blame the receiving core for Monday's performance. They were there. They were open. You can't blame them if Josh isn't throwing them the ball. Let's hope that changes Sunday. Because we acquired these guys for a reason. We got all the hype over Trent Sherfield in training camp, how him and Josh were on this good connection and how good he was looking in camp. And no targets on Monday, 0. Makes no sense. It made no sense to me. So Josh has to do a better job looking for his other receivers. All right, next up, home opener. Regardless of worrisome week one, it's the home opener in Western New York on Sunday. A bad day to be the Raiders. It's a local holiday in Buffalo, and they're going to know it by the way Bills Mafia is ramped up. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Hey, listen, we show up. Everybody knows that. Bills Mafia is the best fan base in all of sports, in my opinion. We show up even on away games. We are there. We are loud. And I expect this home opener to be loud and cause fits for the Raiders offense, right? But the Bills better not stink this one up. The Bills better come out swinging. They better come out correcting their issues, especially Josh Allen. And I want to see a better offensive play calling, game plan from Ken Dorsey than what I saw in week one. And I got to say, too, speaking of Ken Dorsey, I didn't think his play calling was terrible week one. Some of you guys might disagree on that, and I understand. I thought it was okay. I thought he did a decent job where he called a game where receivers were getting open, where tight ends were getting open. A lot of people thought he wasn't going to do 12 personnel, right? That's what they were worried about when we drafted Dalton Kincaid. And he proved that to be, prove people wrong. He ran a lot of 12 personnel. You're going to see that this year a lot. It's just Josh Allen didn't use his weapons. And I will say this too, though, on the negative side for Ken Dorsey, I didn't see much creativity. Again, And I also didn't see any in-game adjustments from Ken Dorsey, especially in the second half when things weren't going right. That's the OC's responsibility. The OC sees everything. He's up there, he's seeing the field. He's the one that needs to make some adjustments. He's the one that needs to help the offense out and call a better game plan, right? And I just felt like, just like Brian Dable, who struggled in in-game adjustments, Ken Dorsey seems to be struggling as well. Also, getting the running game going. And I got to say, the run blocking was not very good on Monday. Not very good at all. There was some holes open, though, for James Cook, who did not read them and ran right into the back of his offensive lineman. So that's on James Cook. But overall, I thought they were, pretty bad at run blocking. Pass blocking, I thought they were okay. They did an okay job. Run blocking, there's still a lot of work to be done. And James Cook, I don't know if he's the answer at RB1. I was also disappointed that Damian Harris got one carry. One. A guy that you were excited about getting that has, experience over James Cook, especially over James Cook. A guy that can be used for this offense, a little more of a banger type running back. And, we used him one time. I thought Latavius Murray, when he was used, I think he had 3 carries, maybe. Yeah, I think 3 carries. I thought he ran the ball well between the tackles. He got positive yards. He's a bigger back, 6'3", but they didn't use him much. And once again, we went away from the running game. And then when we went back to the running game, it was an overtime on a 2nd and 15. What are you doing? A shotgun draw to James Cook when they've been stuffing the play all day long? It made no sense. Like, that's on Ken Dorsey, guys. That's not Josh Allen. That's a Ken Dorsey problem. And it just doesn't make sense. And by the way, those shotgun runs, shotgun, draw, shotgun, handoffs, they're terrible. They do not work in this system. They haven't worked since 2018, right? They just don't work. They got to stop that. Hand the ball off under center. When will they learn? We get either negative yards or a yard or 2. It's a waste of a down. Stop doing the shotgun runs and stop having Allen do quarterback draws as well. They do not work anymore. Defenses are piling in the box. Our offensive line is not good enough right now for a quarterback draw. Just not. So there's some things Ken Dorsey needs to work on as well. And I supported Ken Dorsey all last season. I still don't think he did a terrible job last season. But if he can't get it right this season, the Buffalo Bills need to think about making a change for OC. They really do. Because right now, what I've seen so far in week 1 and the second half of last season, heading into this, it seems to be the same for Ken Dorsey. Same play calling, no in-game adjustments, putting our offense in bad positions. Not good. So that needs to be corrected. So anyway, guys, Bills Mafia, listen up. Tonight, 7:30, Mafia Means Family podcast will be previewing the Bills versus the Raiders game. That's at 7:30. You don't want to miss that. Friday at 8:30, it's me and Mikey for Friday Night Lights. 8:30. You don't want to miss that. That we're also previewing the Bills versus the Raiders game. And then Saturday at 6 o'clock, AFC East Shakedown is going to be on Sports Jedi Network. It's not going to be on Mafia Sports Report this weekend. So if you haven't subscribed to their page, go to my homepage on my YouTube. Their link is in my homepage. Sports Jedi Network. You don't want to miss that show. Bills Mafia, you better be there. Represent. It's at 6 o'clock on Saturday. And then also Sunday, after the game, me and Mikey will be doing the instant post game like we always do, right after the game. So you don't want to miss that. And hopefully, it's a happier time to do a post game show and a Bills victory, not what we did Monday night where we were just not happy. So anyways, Bills Mafia, I love you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.